Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Final Fantasy X-2. We are just going to do a quick little blitz of the Mi'ihen High Road. And this basically is just a little small section just to show off the fact that, like, realistically, you're finished with the Publicity campaign. But look, the guy standing over there, he is Publicity number 3. And as I say, if you've been doing this for those 3 chapters, you can still, you can basically be finished now. So that girl was 1 and 1. This girl is 2 in Publicity and 5 in Matrimony. And I just choose the Mi'ihen High Road just because there's like a high concentration of them. So the lady is 4 for Publicity and 2 for matchmaking. And I still can't get over the fact that, like, we're basically at the end of chapter 3. So this guy, he is number 2. Then there's the guy outside the agency, he's number 1. The lady on the inside, she is option number 2 for Publicity and option number 4 for matchmaking. And the guy sitting across from her, he is option number 3. Then you have to go out across the bridge, and then this lady is option number 2. No, sorry, this lady is option number 4 and option 1 for matrimony. Then there's the guy in the old road, he's option number 2. Then the lady by the Machina, she's option number 4 for Publicity and option number 1 for matrimony. The guy at the top of the dead end, he's option number 1. And the guy at the bottom of the dead end, he is option number 3. And basically, that's the terms and conditions done for getting your percentage completion at the end of chapter 5. You know, you only need 400 points. And I'm just showing you here now that we can talk to the Here Comes the Bride guy. And basically, if you get 30 or more points, it gives you a really good accessory. And this lady, she's chatting today with 545. We need to make sure we've gotten at least 400 by the end of chapter 5. So we are well on our way, and we don't need to be worrying about that for the rest of the game now. But we are going to hop into Kilika, and the reason for Kilika first is because we're going to be getting a dressphere here. So I would rather collect it here, be leveling it up, and have it mastered before we head on to Val 4 and the end of the chapter. And in truth, I actually think the dressphere we get from Kilika is actually one of the best in the game in terms of, like, versatility and all-roundedness, because it has support abilities, it has decent strength, it has decent evasion, it has, like, fairly good, like, it's a bit frail, but it has all of these boosting abilities, like giving haste, giving evasion, giving accuracy, boosting strength, like dealing damage the lower health you have, giving a damage boost, and things like that. Not too dissimilar to how Auron's ultimate weapon worked in Final Fantasy X. Auron's damage calculation for his ultimate weapon was he got more damage done the lower his health was from its maximum. So similarly, the samurai has an ability, it's called the Mirror of Equity, I think it is, and it's basically does more damage the lower health you are. I'm just kind of running along, but what you need to do is you need to speak to the guys on the boat in relation to the Youth League base again. And then what you can also do is chat to this lady, because you'll remember in chapter 1 we collected all those squatter monkeys, and so if you speak to her again, she'll say, oh, did you find any other squatter monkeys? You found 13. So that's so many. And we get the Chaos Maelstrom garment grid as a reward. And it's actually a very good garment grid, in fairness. It basically allows us to use our Arcana abilities from the Dark Knight. Gives us bonuses to magic, and then if we pass through all the gates, we get our Dark Knight, like our Arcana abilities, on a big cooldown decrease. So I make a very, 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 very bad decision here. So if you are watching this, you know, before we go further on, put Gun Mage on every single garment grid you are thinking of using, because I get to a stage where I go to a single fight, like I can get the battle again later on, but I learn a new blue bullet, and I happen to have equipped Yuna with this garment grid at the time, and the long and the short of it is Yuna is the only one that doesn't have that ability. Now the enemy appears more in chapter 5 anyway, but it's just really stupid that I just was like, oh, I didn't put Gun Mage on every garment grid. That was so dumb. And what's more frustrating is that, like, I hadn't saved either. So, like, I couldn't even reload a saved before I went in. But all you have to do is talk to Donna.
We heard fiends were coming from the temple.
And then Donna is basically going to agree to help distract the guards so we can break into the temple.
I'm not even so sure there are any fiends.
You haven't checked?
I'm in the Youth League. Do you think they'd let me in the temple?
So now what? We giving up? Let's take a look first.
You'll never get near the temple. The Youth League's blockaded the forest entrance. As they should. We can't have those temple vermin crawling into town now, can we? Besides, it spares me from having to see that sulky face.
Sulky face? Bartello?
Of course, he's with New Yevon, so naturally he's in the temple. But then it's really none of my business.
Then we'll make it ours. Besides, I'm worried about the fiends.
If you want to go that badly, I won't stop you. But they're turning people away at the gate. I've got it. I'll distract one of the guards. That's your chance to run through.
I knew she was worried about him.
So just run upstairs. Don't miss out on a lovely little treasure chest. And then this is where it gets interesting. So we have Donna distracting one guard.
That leaves one. Let's wait for our chance and take it.
Now, you don't have to go straight away. And I'm not going to go now, purely because I was like, I didn't go talk to the guy at the boat. So you have to run around this way, go over the bridge. Like, that's the thing. This new layout of Kilika is very, like, windy and overlapping. It is quite frustrating. But you basically need to talk to the guy with the video camera. And I'm talking to everybody else but the guy with the video camera. Oh my god, talk to the guy with the video camera. And he then lets you have another look at the Youth League headquarters. And basically, because we've spoken to him both times, he'll then let us go over there in Chapter 5. You'll notice that I'm kind of being like, ooh, Chapter 3. Ooh, lots of things in Chapter 3. And then when we get to Chapter 5, like, there's not a lot of mentioning of Chapter 4. And that's because, oh, guys, when we get to Chapter 4, it is messy. It is, yeah, let's just enjoy the fun episodes and interesting quests while we can. But yeah, basically, yeah, like, you don't need practice. You just have to keep track. You just have to look and see, okay, are they letting the person in? Once they are, check that the guy facing Donna, so we know that that guy is being let in now. So we just check, okay, the gate's open. He's not looking. We can go. Really isn't hard. And because we got it in our first try, we then have this treasure chest as a reward. And we gain Bushido lore. Interestingly enough, we get this before we actually unlock the skills. Like, before we unlock the samurai dressphere, we have the ability to let us use that regardless of if we have the dressphere on or not. So, 'tis quite a bit silly.
There's a hidden path through
But
the
we are
woods.
about to get
Walk
it
the
now,
treetops.
so buckle up, Buttercup. Now, the actual forest is on fire, and when you think about it, the Youth League are literally locking these, you know, New Yevon people, men, women, and children, in a burning temple, in a burning forest, to just die. So, you know, not very ideal. But basically, all you have to do is run to each of the different barricades. So you basically learn, there's literally no way up. You try and go this way, there's a barricade. You even try and go the sneaky little thin middle way. And there's even a barricade there. So just hold the jump button as you're like wandering back, and eventually you'll trigger a cutscene
Donna
that
said
will
there
let
was
us
a
jump
hidden
up
path.
and walk in the treetops.
Walk the treetops.
And then again, like, we have this lovely, like, new area, quote unquote, but it's just like a single trail, and then it's like, oh, and it's just a different way to get into the temple. Like, I feel like they could have done so much more, but like, what can you do, you know? But now we have these blue flames. And, you know, little science fact, the flames that are blue are hotter than red flames. So this is an even more dangerous situation because the flames are burning even hotter. They're even shattering the glass. And I love how it's broken all the glass. But you can talk to this guy and he actually sells some bits and pieces that you can't buy everywhere. So I'm just going to buy 99 of everything. Holy waters, curing curse, itchy, pointlessness. And like, we have the gale, so like, it's literally no harm at all. So we're just finished up here with this guy. And now we're going to talk to Shinra. He's putting down a comm sphere. And Buddy's just negotiating a price because, you know, one man's suffering is another man's paycheck. And then, yeah, they're literally like, we're gonna protect the temple. It's like, dude, I just want to help you. I literally am the High Summoner that saved the world. What is your beef? But as you can see, the blue flames even, you know, burn in here. And they've had to recruit lots of war machina to like keep the fiends at bay. And he's like, oh my god, weaponry in these hollowed halls. And it's like, girl, do you not remember Yuna's wedding? They had her marching up the aisle at gunpoint. Like, they were well used to that. Like, Tidus landing in and having to chop down these cannons to, like, rescue Yuna from Seymour. It's like, girl. Yevon and dangerous machina weapons are not strangers. But, again, the blue flames everywhere. And they say that the blue flames block their paths. They can just stand their ground here. And still no sign of Bartello. And Donna was so sure he'd be like in defending the temple. And we have these very, very spooky fiends. But in truth, even if you were averagely leveled, these are not anything to be worried about at all. But that's kind of the trick. You want your Berserker to chain their attack. So if you can get a wallop in with any character and then have the Berserker chain it, they'll do serious, serious damage.
Bartello?
And here's poor Bartello.
Be okay.
Under pressure.
Fiends?
We're holding them off somehow. They're coming from inside. One after another. Oh! If the fiends reach the town, they'll reach Donna!
They won't.
Donna!
Thanks.
That's my best
Donna
Bartello
wants to see you.
impression.
Well, she didn't come right out and say it, but you can kind of tell.
I want to see her too. Even if we believe different things, I'll always feel the same about her. The time of the summoners may have passed, but I will always be Donna's guardian. I live only to protect her.
And you can say that with a straight face.
Donna!
So, our objective to get through the Chamber of the Fayth, the Cloisters of Trials, to get to the Chamber of Fayth, is simply to run into all these blue flames. And in the blue flames, we end up fighting these same demony looking devils. And basically, we run into each of the blue flames, but I have Yuna equipped with the Highway Winds, which means even though she's the Dark Knight and the slowest, she'll always kind of go first, and then we'll be reasonably able to follow up with a chain, which is super useful. But anywhere you see a blue flame, you just have to be like a moth and just go to the flame. And attack, attack. Like doing 3,000 damage and stuff, like it's actually mad how strong the girls are. Well, it's not mad. They're like in their 50s, level 50s, so to bronze. So we now have to fight 2, so we gotta change it up a bit. And they start casting haste, which is pretty scary. But we have Pain with her swordplay skills. So again, like swordplay with berserker strength and agility is insane. Do not miss this. This is the samurai dressphere, and we are going to equip it right away. This is like our second to last one. And we're going to just put it onto the Intrepid Garment Grid, because this gives us triple the AP whenever we pass through all the gates. And we're just going to put all the girls into the samurai dressphere, because the Dark Aeons give like 15 or so AP just for defeating them, and obviously 15 times 3 is a handy 45. So we're just going to get the girls to have different particular like learning skills and stuff. Run into the Chamber of the Fayth, and we have Dark Ifrit.
Again.
I feel like he should have had blue flames as well, though. I feel like they were missing out on that.
An Aeon?
Yeah.
Uni.
I know. I'm ready.
So here we have all the girls in their samurai getup. And now we just need to sphere change twice to allow us to get 3 times the AP. And this is all I do in the battle simulator, guys. I literally load them up, sphere change 3 times, and then in general, it's like if I can use items, if I can use a boosting kind of move, we're getting 3 AP every single time they do anything. And then obviously every time they defeat an enemy, they're getting 3 AP rather than 1 AP. And like that's why I kind of go for missions that are like little fighting enemies in the themed arena that are that little bit weaker, but also that come in like high multiples. So if you can fight like 4 enemies in a round, that's automatically going to use 16 AP just for defeating them, let alone using a particular ability on an enemy is another 3. And like if you can use healing abilities or stuff that doesn't damage the enemy, then you're maximizing your AP gain phenomenally. And obviously going up against this Aeon, we're going to be using abilities all the time. So you can literally like count in this battle, we're like, okay, Yuna's done 1 ability, that's 3 AP now. She's maybe done 4 abilities, that's now 16 AP. And then she's going to also get plus 45 for whenever she actually beats Ifrit, you know? And so now that we have attack 1 enemy, doing more damage the lower from your maximum HP you are. And obviously we're getting some look at the sphere changes from Lady Luck and from this, that, and the other. Now, if I didn't have sphere changes turned off, you would be watching these every single time I sphere change. Another quick, you know, blitz. So the girls are taking some fire damage, but like, here we go. 3 AP for you now. And we're just gonna keep doing that until we run out of AP base, or MP basically. And like, this is like the strength of you know, Samurai, because that ability has a really low damage multiplier if they've full health. So like that, you invid 0 damage. So if you can keep them all with full health, you can attack and get loads of points together without actually killing any of the enemies, which is quite handy. But as you can see, like, they still do like a decent amount of damage. Like if we were chaining a lot better, like with Yuna and Riku right now, like there, bam, like 2,000 more damage and stuff. And like if I wanted to get lots more AP, I could have just been doing the Mirror of Equity, but with that, all the girls learned a new ability, and I'll just max out that dressphere off screen. But that's pretty much going to be the episode, guys. We're going to just watch the cutscene of kind of everything fixing itself and coming out of the temple with all things back to normal, except for this giant hole. Another one in the Kilika temple's chamber. So with another sweeping shot of the Celsius, we are going to call it an episode. We're gonna get all these different abilities now for the samurai dress. Again, with some amazing skills like spare change, and the support abilities are absolutely amazing when we get down to those. But like, we have sparkler and fireworks. There's actually just tons of great stuff. Like momentum. That just, the more fiends you defeat, the more damage it gets. So like massively exploitable there. But yeah, I'm gonna call it a day, guys. Thanks for watching.